The journey is conversations with ordinary people about stories of transformation and how we may have had setbacks in our life and how we persevered through those, how we've learned from those obstacles, and how they've maybe helped us on our path today. Well, welcome to the journey. My name is Kevin Polky, and I am the host of the journey. And we are starting off 2025 with a reflection. I was listening to a podcast recently, and Mel Robbins is someone I was introduced to just recently, and her series of different episodes that she has, and some of the guests that she has had on. Got started off in October listening to her interview Dr. James Dottie, and that was a pretty profound episode for me regarding the idea of um, intentionally putting ourselves into a meditative place of creativity, of the heart mode, as we intentionally are um, activating the parasympathetic nervous system. And so, if you get an opportunity, go to the Mel Robbins podcast and check out her interviewing Dr. James Dottie. That was a pretty powerful episode, at least for me. I've listened to it numerous times. But what I want to talk about today is, seeing that we're starting off the new year, was this idea that as we start off a new year, I do a couple different things. One is I go back and I look at reflecting on the previous year, and what is it that I would intentionally want to do in the upcoming year. And as I was listening to Robbins talk about uh, an annual ritual that her and her husband, and now her and her adult children do, they talked about the idea of at least one aspect of it, of looking at their pictures over the past 12 months in their camera roll. So I took that prompting, that suggestion or challenge, and I looked at pictures that I had taken starting in January, the beginning of January of 2024. And each month I took notes on the pictures that I had taken on my camera, and what were my observations of those, and what did I notice, what was my tendency. And I'm going to tell you a little bit about my experience doing that, and then what maybe came from it. Probably the first thing that came from it is that I take my pictures that I take with my phone are probably very similar to my social media pages. It probably is much more work related or inspirational related, more so than um, family or friends. And that just has been my tendency. With social media, that I use it more for some type of extension of the work that I'm doing, more so than a place to display what's going on with my family or friends or with me personally. And uh, my my picture roll, my camera roll, reflected the same thing. That there was a lot of inspirational quotes that I had saved. There was pictures of me doing workshops and seminars that I had done throughout the year. And there was a lot of pictures of sunrises, of flowers, and of nature. And so those were the things that I noticed in my camera. I noticed um, that I'd forgotten that Diane and I, with Delinda and Rob, had gone on a vacation up to Door County, and kind of forgot all about that as I was transitioning from leaving the company, KP Counseling, that I had started in 2001, and opening up or restructuring Four Corners Wellness Center, which I started in May 1st. And that was a focal, a lot of my energy during the 2024 year. Um, that I forgot all about, that we had taken a long weekend, and we had gone up to Door County and spent some time up there. So I was grateful for that, remembrance of that time spent away. Um, so what else did I notice in my camera room? Well, I noticed that, was it that there's a lot of time focused on work and not on personal life? There's something to be argued about that, especially with the events that were happening in 2024 with me transitioning. But again, I think it's probably more reflective of how I use the camera and pictures and what I do with them, uh, similar to social media regarding what do I post on that. So I don't know if that was an accurate description, because I know that this past year had been a much different pace the second half of the year as I started the new business, meaning it was much slower. I had a lot more time to be with Diane, spending time with her, not as much involved with business as I had before, with the demands that I had with the previous job, the previous company. So those were some of the things that I noticed, regarding that. What is it that I want to do for this coming year? Well, I think there's a couple things. One of the things that I want to be able to do this coming year is continue being intentional about my spiritual development and um, and progression from a spiritual standpoint, regarding continue increasing my time with meditation and creativity, increasing some content regarding writing, and possibly even introducing another platform in which to bring out that information, and that'll be coming soon. Um, Making sure that as I am going through some changes physically, that being able to uh, take the opportunity that that is going to have as I go through that process of preparing for and the recovery of something that'll be coming up here in the next couple months. So for me, I don't know if there's going to be dramatic changes from the last 6 months of my life going into 2025, as much as being intentional of maybe taking some pictures of things that we do. So last weekend, uh, Diane and I had the opportunity to spend the day with Kevin and Sierra, and we went to a couple different places, and I was intentional about taking some pictures and capturing that moment that 6 months or a year ago that I wouldn't have done. We just went to a couple different places. A friend of ours used to own Carlisle's brewery. We went there. We went to another place, and we in Belvedere that had just opened up. And each one of these places we had taken pictures. We stopped by Miles Nielsen and Kelly Stewart's Music Box, which was across the street from Carlisle's, and we took some pictures while we were there of just of Cheap Tricks and Rick Nielsen's platinum and gold records that were on the wall. I don't need to post those things on social media, but I'm going to be intentional about maybe capturing some of those moments so that when I reflect back on it a year from now, that they'll come to mind, kind of like remembering going to the Door County with Diane and Delinda and Rob, that I had wasn't at my top mind awareness. So when you think about what you want to do in 2025, either building off of what you did in 2024 or maybe doing something new, um, I think it comes to, like we've talked before, it's one, having an idea and a plan to do that, and then having the discipline to follow through with that plan. Either way, what we do know is that week to week we are going to be together, and we're going to be either having some guests on, like we will next week, or we'll be doing some reflection. And a year from now we will have 50 or so episodes that we can reflect back on as well. As always, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and I look forward to being with you next week.